Hello and welcome to Drummers Review. I'm Nolly, and today we're looking at a trio of Guru Tour Series Black Walnut snare drums. Guru Drums is a bespoke drum builder based here in the UK, and their Tour Series is an attempt at a more affordable drum range, where that saving in cost is derived from the use of more conventional shell hardware in place of the normally very expensive, bespoke low-mass hardware that they use. The three sizes of snare that we have here today are 14 by 7 inches, 14 by 5.5 and 13 by 7, and all of them feature the same segmented solid shell construction. The two 14-inch snares both come in at £665, while the 13 is £645. So let's take a deeper listen and come back for some more discussion afterwards. So our initial impressions were that these drums look fantastic. They're really beautiful with a great looking wood grain on them. And apart from that, it was actually really cool to be able to compare three identical drums built to different dimensions. The segmented construction looks really cool and definitely stands out from the rest of the pack when it comes to wood drums. And added to that, the satin finish is applied really nicely. So these drums look great, offset with that shiny chrome hardware. All three of these drums are fitted with Evans G1 coated batter heads, snare side 300 on the reverse, and use Pure Sound custom 20-strand wires. Being thin, solid shell drums, they feature a lot of shell resonance, and that would probably be the reason someone would want to go down this route of construction. Black walnut as a timber, according to Guru, provides a slightly shorter note length than certain alternatives, with an overall more fundamental focused sound and less overtone. Starting with the 14x7-inch drum, we felt like it's a very wet sound, very musical because there's a ton of that fundamental tone to it. It might need a little bit of control for people that are after a drier snare sound, although I'm not sure why they'd be looking at these kinds of drums if that was the case. In terms of a general tonality, I felt like this snare had a fairly soft attack. I wouldn't say it's overly articulate, but it does have plenty of body to it. The amount of shell resonance gives it a rich character. Overall, I'd say it's quite a classy vibe for a snare drum. Moving on to the 14x5.5-inch deep snare, this one was our least favourite out of the trio. It's definitely more articulate than the 7-inch was, but we felt that it started to lack a little bit of body and instead take on a bit more of a mid-range pokiness that we weren't too keen on. Overall, I'd say this is a kind of drum that might suit softer players who'd enjoy the brighter, cleaner and more articulate character. Overall, the 13 was our favourite out of the pack. It had a lovely chesty pop to it, and it was a bit drier than the others, which to us worked in its favour. To us, this seemed like the most versatile drum, with a wider range of versatile tuning. It's the kind of drum that I think could be used in loads of situations. It would make a great pop drum, for example, as well as being very crankable up into funk territory, and being suitable for pop rock too. The amount of body to this drum was quite similar to the 14x7, yet the decrease in the amount of overtone activity just made it sit a little bit better for us. Thin, solid shell snare drums have quite a unique character, so they're certainly not going to be the choice for people trying to play very heavy music. But for those of you who enjoy those kinds of sounds, there's a lot of nuance to extract from these drums, and they're certainly really lovely instruments to play. Build quality wise, there is nothing to fault here at all. They are incredibly well made drums. If you look up close on them, the eye just gets drawn to more and more attention to detail. They're certainly drums that are going to last you a very long time. The shell roundness and bearing edges are executed perfectly, and as a result these drums tune up very easily. However, with that much sustain, you might find yourself being a bit more perfectionist than normal when it comes to tuning, just because you can so obviously hear when there's clashing lugs. Hardware-wise, everything is of a very high quality. I'd love to hear these drums with different hoops, just out of interest, because those S hoops definitely impart quite a loud, brash character. Something like a triple flange would be really interesting to hear. As regular viewers of this channel might know, we're generally not huge fans of snare strainers that have a particularly long throw on them. And these snare strainers made by VK drums certainly do have quite a long action to them. In our view, having such a long throw makes it quite cumbersome to throw the wires off quickly, and in turn makes it quite noisy as you bring the wires back into play. With that said though, this strainer certainly feels very heavy duty and clicks into place nicely. At around the £650 mark, we feel like these snares are priced fairly, especially given the amount of craftsmanship that's got into them. When compared with solid shell wood snare drums made by other custom builders, they're really on the affordable end of things, so it does make a really great entry into the point of high-end solid shell drums. Overall, we feel like these drums are going to appeal to people that enjoy the richer, more resonant sounds you can get from solid shell snares, with a 13-inch in particular standing out as a great balanced drum. To us, the best thing about these drums is the incredible build quality you get from Guru, although at the same time you should definitely choose the size carefully to make sure it meets your needs. But why don't you let us know what you think? Don't forget to leave us a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time at Drummers Review.